These simple tools are all you need to make delicious and, of course, nutritious roast vegetables. I like this little gadget. I got it in Italy. It grates cheese and other stuff. Does, peeling, and then this is for, like getting the juice out of an orange or something. Quick peeler. If you want one, just go to Italy and walk around the markets and you'll probably find one. If not, you'll have a good time. Beets should be washed, but I don't peel those because, it's a pain in the butt. I take all my vegetable waste and just put it in a bag, the bag that it came in usually from the grocery store. Just keeps things from smelling bad. I've seen vegetable roast recipes that tell you not to wash the fruit, not to wash your vegetables, but that's gross. So the reason they do that is because you're going to coat them with olive oil, and they might not be coated properly if they're wet, but really you got to wash your vegetables. So we've got some beets, some carrots, and some broccoli, all of which have been washed. We're cutting them up so that and this is something you kind of have to get the feel for, but so that they're roughly going to be finished at about the same time. I'm cutting a lot of the broccoli away because I really just like the florets. But, do what you want. They're actually delicious. The whole broccoli is delicious this way. And now when I cut up my carrots, I'm just going to cut it so that the big part is going to be a little bit smaller than the small end. Again, to try to get them to be done at about the same time. So as I work my way down the carrot, the pieces are getting a little bit bigger. By the way, in case you don't know me, I'm not a professional chef, so don't take the way I cut things. Make it your own. Now these vegetables are not perfect. These beets are not that fresh. They're kind of getting a little spongy, but they're going to be delicious roasted. And again, the key is to try to make it so that things are about the same size. Now, beets stain your fingers, so if you're doing any hand modeling later in the day, try to keep that in mind. These are gold beets, except they just got discolored from the red beets, but they're delicious, a little bit milder. If you have never had them, they're fantastic. Now, once you get everything prepared, that's when the fun begins. So now comes the tough part. And actually, if you know me at all, you'd know that if there was really a tough part, I wouldn't be making this food. But this is the part where you have the potential to get vegetables all over the kitchen. Let's put it that way. So basically, this is actually even a little bit small pan for all these vegetables, but it's all right. What we can do about that is mix them in stages. But the important thing is that you keep them from sticking together. It looks like I didn't cut these well enough because they are sticking together. And then you just put them in. See how pretty the colors are? You get a little bit of different colored fruit. Nothing like diversity in cooking. Makes things so much more delicious because they look nice. So you put in some vegetables. I mean, ideally you'd have a pan big enough to put in all the vegetables. I failed in that respect. I was a little over ambitious in my cutting. And you're just going to put a little bit of olive oil on, just like just enough to moisten them all, but not so much that they're going to be boiling. Okay? And then you take your 2 forks and you just kind of toss them. I usually toss them first, once, and this is where you can potentially have vegetables flying all over the kitchen. I usually toss them first and then put on a little salt and pepper because the salt and pepper sticks better when things have a little bit of oil on them. So, toss. Sorry, these melted on the stove. And it just, a couple of things of pepper, a couple of things of salt, toss them again. Oops, see that? Caught it though. And then you're just going to throw them in the oven. A couple of questions that I know you're going to ask me is how long should I cook it and at what temperature? And the answers are easy but not straightforward. I usually cook it at around 350 or 375. As far as how long, it really depends on the size of the vegetables that you cooked, how tender or crunchy you like them, stuff like that. So I've had these in for a half hour. Let's take a look and see how they are doing. After a half hour, the broccoli is starting to get a little brown. The beets are still really plump, and these are actually not done enough. So I'm just kind of stabbing them. Some of them are okay, but like this one, just not ready. So it's a good time just to plump them up, give them a little tossing. And these were in for 375 for a half hour. I put them back in the oven, but then I forgot about them. So I honestly don't know what we're going to see when we take these out. They've probably been in for about an hour. But again, it's really hard to screw up roast vegetables. And what happens is after a while you can start to smell the nice veggie smell, and that's usually a good time to take them out. These are lovely. Now they're perfect texture. They're not soggy at all. They're nice and firm, but they're cooked. I think you're going to love this recipe. Let me know how you make out.